Hello and welcome to the first ever fish tank. Well, I say first ever fish tank, I mean obviously I'm not sat in a fish tank. It is instead a video diary called The Fish Tank. The fish tank itself, the actual glass fish tank, obviously evolved from probably a fish pond first and then onto a fish bowl, and the fish tank is probably a bit better because it probably replicates some sort of an outside experience for the fish, because you've got like a miniature castle there for it and a variety of things to keep the fish entertained when it's in a tank. But this is the fish tank. It's recorded by me. It's for www.jimbostudios.com, which you might actually be on www.jimbostudios.com at the moment, or you might not. You might be watching us on YouTube. If you are watching it on YouTube, it's a good website. But www.jimbostudios.com is even better. This came about basically because my friend Jimbo, he rang me up. It was a cry for help really. He rang me up and said, "Help! I need someone to do the fish tank. Can you do it for me?" I said, "Yeah, sure, no problems." So it's a video diary. It'll probably last about 5 minutes, but might go a bit over perhaps. I'm not sure at the moment. Just have to wait and see. I'm not timing it or anything. My watch is on, but watch. There we go. There's a watch. But it's not recording the time or anything. So might last about 5 minutes. Who knows? But it's a weekly thing, and I'm going to tell you about my week and what's happened. So this week I've had exams, that kind of thing. It's been not too bad. I started off, I had a microeconomics exam, and it was a bit weird to be honest, because they check our calculators very, very stringently. Sat down, put my calculator on the side, I was just doing the exam, some bloke walked up and started pressing loads of numbers into my calculator and checking, make sure I'm not going to anything in my memory. They were trying to spell the word boobies though or something, So that happened to me, and I got into a bit of trouble in the exam because it said, the question was for microeconomics, I had to do about elasticity. And it said, companies will often advertise products to make their demand curves more inelastic. Discuss. Oh well, because it said discuss, I turned around to the person sat next to me and started talking to him and chatting about it. And the invigilators came up and said, "Oh, you can't do that." So I had to just carry on writing normally. And yesterday I had a law exam, which perhaps didn't go too well. I didn't really like it. I don't like law. I like the law. I think we should live in a society that has law and enforcement. But I don't like studying law. I felt it was a bit dull to be honest, because I couldn't really remember all that much about law. By the way, if you think I'm sort of moving around quite a bit, I am on a swivelly chair, so that might be why I'm not just shaking or anything, I'm not really, really nervous, but I am on a swivelly chair. So I had the law exam. I worked at the weekend on Sunday, which was, work. Got a bit of money for it. I had to do a stock take and speak to a customer all day. Instead, I had to count up loads of magazines in the back, which weren't too good because I counted in the back. There weren't any copy of Nuts or Zoo or FHO or anything, nothing for me to read. And then I had to count my way through loads of pairs of tights and stuff. I must have counted about 2,000 pairs of tights, something like that. And it's alright at the start. You can get to have a look at all the sexy ladies' legs on the front covers of the tights, wearing the fishnets or anything. I didn't like it, but it's sometimes quite good to have a look at that kind of thing. Well, that when you do it for about 6 hours continuously, it does get a bit boring. I must have counted about 2,000 pairs of tights. And that's all I've really been up to. I played pool yesterday against my friend Liam. It was 3-all, and we're playing pool and watching Countdown at the same time as well. We're watching Countdown, and this one person, he got a 4-letter word. Both contestants, all they could get was a 4-letter word. They got WAGs, which I don't even think is a proper word to be honest. That's an acronym for wives and girlfriends. England football players, their wives and girlfriends, Posh Spice, Cheryl Tweedy, and various others. Instead, the word I got was actually wigs. Later on, I was watching Countdown and I got aroused. It's only 7 letters, but it's not a bad word to get. So I think Countdown sort of got slightly better now that Des O'Connor's in. Des O'Connor did a good job, but neither of them are Richard Whiteley. You can't beat Richard Whiteley. He was the ultimate in Countdown presenter. He's the best. I think Carl Vaughan was trying to take over a little bit, to be honest. But I think Des O'Connor should do a good job, although he is slightly old. Apparently, you got Richard Hammond to do the job, but obviously he had his accident, so they couldn't really interview him for it because he was in hospital at the time, having crashed at about 280 miles an hour, which was shown on television as well. Apparently he begged the BBC to allow him to show the crash. So apparently it was the highest speed crash ever who says speed kills? Rubbish, he's still alive. Yeah. So if you are watching this, drive at whatever speed you want, you won't die. Richard Hammond didn't. 288 miles an hour, perfectly fine. So anyway, that's all that's happened to me this week. In a regular feature of the show, by the way, at the end of it, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read out a quote, which is like a headline from newspapers, slightly funny, and also a commentary gaffe, or sort of bit of speech from a sports person to talk about something. So this week's headline is, I assume, probably referring to some kind of paedophile antiques dealer, which says, "Antiques dealer thought girl was older." That was a genuine headline at one point. So not a very good antiques dealer if you can't even tell the age of a girl who's sort of obviously fairly young. Not doing his job properly. And then I've got a commentary quote, or I don't think it was commentary, probably just after a match, from Big Ron Atkinson. And it's not that quote, before you get any ideas. It's not the one that he got sacked for, or resigned before he got sacked. Because he would have got sacked had he not resigned, let's face it, making that kind of comment. He said, this is a comment from Ron Atkinson, and he says, "I never comment on referees, and I won't break the habit of a lifetime for that prat." So, there you go. That was the first ever fish tank. I hope you enjoy it. And someone once told me, when I'm doing a video diary, I must do two things. The first one is leave the audience wanting that little bit more, and the second